So let's talk about blood over intent. The last recording that I didn't record any audio, so this is here. This is. Blood over intent is blood magic that is selfless and for the benefit of all. Blood magic is something that has existed for a very long time, and it goes back into the roots of maritime law, and it goes back even farther than that. You see, blood is a spiritual substance, and we have the ability to use our blood to bring anything we want into reality. If you want to build a house, you use your blood, your sweat, and your tears to build that house. So, these currencies, blood, sweat, and tears, are some of the most powerful that we have. But all of us are very far away from those ideas, from blood, sweat, and tears, and from really understanding, comprehending what we have and what our bodies are and what our souls are and what all of this means and where do we go from here. But we're all so focused on this useless paper backed by our own stupidity that we have lost sight of what's really important. We're working for IOUs, for Federal Reserve notes that don't have any value. They're worth the debt, actually. And these Federal Reserve notes are unfortunately keeping us all enslaved. Among many other things, there's the Siskiyou Trust, there's the maritime law that we're all under, and basically we're all dead lost at sea legally because your parents got a birth certificate for you that isn't a certificate for someone that's alive. It's a certificate for a ship at sea, and it's a certificate later on for a dead entity that you pretend to be every time you cash your check and every time you use your driver's license. You're consenting to be something that you're not, which is a corporation, a dead entity. That's what corporation means. It means a corpse. So there's a lot to this grand deception around us, but blood magic for the benefit of all, to bring forth heaven on earth for the benefit of all. Blood over intent. I intend to bring forth heaven on earth for the benefit of all. I intend to release us all from bondage. I intend to love all and exclude no one. These things are very important. These things are something that everyone can get behind. Everyone can get behind the idea of everyone being released from bondage for the benefit of all. Everyone can get behind the idea of loving all and excluding no one. Everyone can get behind the idea of a heaven on earth for the benefit of all. What do I mean by a heaven on earth? Well, I simply mean that we don't have to live in a system of scarcity anymore. We don't have to struggle for food on a daily basis. We don't have to struggle to survive on a daily basis. We don't have to work for money anymore. Because you working for money, you're slaving away. We all are. We're all slaving away. Even the people that really are slaves. You know, here in America, we actually have quite a luxurious lifestyle. You know, in the eyes of in the eyes of the spirits around us, of those that have died, we are quite rich. Because there are other people in the world that, you know, they are truly understanding the meaning of slavery, and they are truly understanding the meaning of bondage, and they are truly living the life of hell. You know, we live in hell right now, we really do. The fact that there are people out there suffering the way that they do. needlessly. It's all needless. It's all so their suffering can be used so other people don't have to suffer. But that doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. Especially when, like I said, it's needless. It's being done for profit. It's not being done because it has to be done. It's being done because it's being manipulated and being forced to be that way. We live in this world right now where everyone is, indoctrinated pretty much, from our school systems and from what, we're taught. We only know what we've been told and what we've been taught and what we've chosen to go out and explore and find out for ourselves. So, operating off all this information that we know, it can be, really hard to think about, a deception where that many people are involved and that many things happen. But it is quite real, and when you look it up, it verifies itself. Look up sovereign living on YouTube, and you can find out information that's all sourced and credible. You can look up the Black's Law Dictionary, you can look up Rebolins, you can look up all of these different things. Even aspects of the Universal Commercial Code reveal it for those who know what these things mean. The Universal Commercial Code reveals that corporations cannot own or regulate or have jurisdiction over anything unless it is another corporation that they either owned or created. So the United States Corporation has statutes and codes, and these are not law. They are policy. They are corporate policy. So these statutes and codes in every state is basically a corporate policy, and if you're not working for that corporation, you don't have to follow that corporate policy. So when you go and get your driver's license at the DMV, you are saying, I am an employee of this United States corporation. And if you are not making profit on the highways for a corporation, then you are using your legal there's a legal maxim that says that everyone has the right to travel unhindered on public freeways and transportation ways. So that means all of the highways and all of the roads, they're all public transportation. So if you're not making money for a corporation, you don't need a driver's license from the DMV. And you can actually, you can use that. You don't need a driver's license at all. Of course, you're probably going to have issues when the policy enforcers come over to you and say, well, give me your driver's license and registration. You don't even have to give them your driver's license and registration unless they're a lawful peace officer that has arrested you lawfully. But what is a lawful arrest? Did they read you your Miranda rights? Are they even a lawful peace officer? An officer is someone that holds an office. To hold an office, you have to be elected. Was that officer elected? I don't think so. Most of them aren't. That means they're not officers. So right there, when they say, I'm an officer, oh, well, were you elected? There's a lot to it. And, there are emergency lights in some states mean for emergencies only, so you can use that when they pull you over. There's a lot of stuff to it. There's all kinds of stuff, but, all these police officers, everyone has this common preconception that police are there to protect and serve the law, to make sure that everyone is safe, and to keep the peace. But that isn't true. Throw that out the window. Police are there to contract with you. That's it. They are there to contract with you under contract law. So, when you get pulled over by the police, or they come and talk to you, and they ask you for your driver's license, they are contracting with you. And when you give them your driver's license, you have accepted the contract verbally. So, look into it. It's really cool stuff, and it's very, very interesting. But, aside from the legal aspects of our bondage, there's also the spiritual aspects of our bondage. We're stuck in these 666 meat packs. All of us have eternal lives. All of us have eternal souls. But we're stuck into this cycle of reincarnation and death because our souls have been trapped here in this reality. And I know that can sound pretty far-fetched, but I'm not saying that because someone told me that. I'm not saying that because it sounds cool or it sounds right. I've done a lot of research into near-death experiences, and from the information that I've found out from near-death experiences, the idea that the moon is a succubus and that she is the white light we see when we die, and when we die, we are taken to light beings, and these light beings take the form of our families and our loved ones, and they tell us to reincarnate, or they convince us to reincarnate somehow, some way. Either we have a karma debt or we have some kind of thing inside of us where we have to go back and relive another life in this reality that we call Earth. And they erase all of our memories, and then we're shipped back down here and put into another body, and we're just the same soul living another life through different eyes. And they've been doing that to us, over and over again. And we have to stop it. And who are they? Well, I'm talking about the Archons, I'm talking about the Demiurge, I'm talking about the reptiles, reptilians and shit. But, really, we have a reptilian core to our brain. And if you do the research, basically we are the reptilian slave class, and we are their food, and in more ways than one. We as the slaves are creating everything for these elites to be able to do whatever they need to do. And sorry about that, Pop. These elites wouldn't be able to survive the way that they survive without us. They live lives of luxury and lives of complete extravagance. And it's not fair. It's really not fair to all of us that are slaving away on a daily basis for the crumbs of it all, surviving when all of these people get to live extreme amounts of luxury and lavishness off of our backs and off of our sweat and off of our blood and off of our tears. And on top of that, in order to keep everything this way, many of these elites, more than I can even count, not only are they all pedophiles, not only are they all sick, twisted motherfuckers, but they take the blood of our children and they spill other people's blood over their intent. And this magic that they do, you can see it on the Georgia Guidestones, for example. On top of the Georgia Guidestones, there's blood magic that they've done where they've taken other people's blood, not their own blood. They don't have a single drop of their own blood that they can spill. They take other people's blood. And the reason they take other people's blood is because if they were to use their own blood on a selfish intent, it would backfire. But because they're using other people's blood, which is very evil, not necessarily... It's not a good thing to do in any way, shape, or form, is to use another person's blood for your intent, or, even if they did it willingly, it's supposed to be for the benefit of all. It's supposed to be selfless, when you use your own blood. And that's very important, because otherwise it's going to backfire on you. But these elites, they use other people's blood, and they spill other people's blood, children that they've captured and all kinds of sick shit. And they do it so they can bring their intent into fruition. So, like technology, if they can use blood magic for evil, I should be able to use blood magic for good. So I've used my blood magic to atone for my sins, and, I say I intend to atone for my sins, kindly forgive me for my sins. I intend to bring forth a heaven on earth for the benefit of all. I intend to release us all from bondage, and then I just put a little bit of blood over that, and that's all you have to do. And then, in my case, I film it and I put it on the internet, because otherwise I would have to go out to a public place, like a public watering hole or a public town square, and I would have to post it there, because it has to gain witnesses. Everything that we do in our reality usually has to have a witness present for it to be valid. And it's the same thing with blood over intent. You're gaining witnesses by putting it online. If you really want to, you can go out and nail it at your public town square. But, you don't have to do that. You can just put it on YouTube. So, this blood magic that we have, it's very interesting, and I believe it's real. I believe 100%, not only with belief, but with the facts that I found throughout history and the information out there throughout history, that blood magic is very real. And for me, it's worked 100%. Not only has it helped me tremendously in my life, it's helped me grow. I feel more connected to Mother Earth and to our reality around us. I feel like the actions that I'm doing are way better than the actions I was doing before Blood Over Intent. I feel like the thoughts that I have are way better than the thoughts that I had before I did Blood Over Intent. And everything about me, I feel, has gone from lead to gold. You know, the act of putting those words on paper, seeing them, and then putting your blood over those words alchemically changes you. And it brings you from lead to gold. It really does help you raise your vibrations and raise your awareness. And that's because it's a selfless intent. And you intending to be selfless, and you intending to help everyone, and you intending to realize that we don't have to live in this slavery anymore. You know, looking into this stuff, being a truth seeker, trying to debunk, if you will, and trying to do something about all the shit around us. You know, it's good, and it's part of it, and it's necessary, and it's something I recommend to everyone. You know, it helps me, and I know it'll help all of you. But the thing is, it's something that even grandma can do, and it goes, you know, like I was saying earlier, it goes back throughout history. There are sailors, navigators in ships that would not be able to be a navigator for that ship unless they had taken all of the names for the people that they intend to bring from one port to another safely, and say on a piece of paper, they wrote down, I intend to bring all of these people from this place to this place, you know, entirely safe, you know, and intact and all that stuff. And he would sign it, and then he would put his blood over it, and that was so there was no fucking it up. So everyone knew what his intent was, and then he would be allowed, you know, and everyone would see that, everyone would know.